My girlfriend flirted with and kissed a wealthy stranger at a bar, then mocked me in front of everyone, so my reveal shattered her fantasy and left her broken. I'm a 27-year-old male who is dating this chick, Brooke, a 25-year-old female, for about a year. We both work at the same company but in different departments, so we weren't up in each other's business all day. She's a hot brunette with stunning blue eyes and curves in all the right places. She came from your typical suburban background, simple family, normal upbringing and all. Me? I'm doing decent. I've got my own place without roommates and my bills are paid on time. The absolute pride of my existence is this classic 1969 Chevy Chevelle I inherited from my uncle. I spent literal years restoring that beast. Midnight blue with white racing stripes, chrome rims, the whole 9 yards. When I'm not working on the car, I'm usually gaming with my buddies, Liam and Bobby. I've got a setup that makes them see green with jealousy, a custom-built PC, 3 monitors, RGB everything, and a gaming chair that basically hugs you like it's trying to propose. My weekend routine was pretty set. Saturday mornings were at the garage, swapping parts with other car guys, getting oil on my jeans, and arguing about carburetors versus fuel injection for hours. Sometimes we'd hit the back roads for a quick run, engines roaring, just to feel alive. Sundays were sacred for gaming marathons. Liam would bring his extra controller, Bobby would show up with energy drinks and snacks, and we'd grind for hours. I got the Chevelle after my uncle passed away 5 years ago. The thing was a rusted-out mess, sitting on blocks in his garage. Most people would have sold it for parts, but I saw potential. I spent every spare dollar and weekend bringing it back from the dead, learning everything from YouTube tutorials and forums. The first big win was when I got the engine to turn over after 6 months of work. The second was the first time I took it around the block. By the time I finished the paint job last year, I'd put more hours into that car than most people put into their college degrees. When I first brought Brooke to meet the guys, it seemed like she fit right in. She'd laugh at Bobby's dumb jokes, and actually seemed interested when Liam talked about his latest PC build. She'd even sit on the couch with us during game nights, scrolling through her phone but occasionally looking up to cheer when one of us pulled off something impressive. Liam's always been my day one since high school. The dude works in IT and can fix anything with a circuit board. He once rebuilt my entire PC after I accidentally fried the motherboard by trying to overclock it too much. Bobby joined our squad in college. He's the one who's always got some insane story about his weekend but somehow still crushes it at his finance job. The man can party until 4 in the morning and still send perfectly crafted emails at 7 in the morning. No idea how he does it. Things with Brooke seemed cool at first. Weekend dates, weeknight Netflix and chill. You know the drill. But around 8 months in, she started with these comments like, "Don't you think that car is too old? Or how long are you going to play that game tonight?" Nothing major but constant little jabs. One time, I was under the Chevelle fixing the exhaust system when she came over unannounced. She just stood there in my garage, sighing loudly until I rolled out from under the car. "I thought we were going to that new sushi place tonight," she said. We weren't. We had literally zero plans that night, and I had told her I was working on the car. The weird thing was, I always made time for her. Always. If she wanted to go out, we went. If she wanted to watch some reality show instead of me gaming, controller down, TV on, I'd even take her for rides in the Chevelle, and she'd act like she was having fun, but then later drop some comment about it being such an old man car or whatever. She started forgetting when we had plans, too. I'd show up at her apartment, ready for our dinner reservation, and she'd be in sweats, claiming she never heard me confirm. Then I'd show her our texts, and suddenly she'd remember but blame me for not reminding her enough. There was this one time we were at a car meet with the Chevelle. This dude comes up, total gearhead, starts asking me about the engine specs, the restoration process, all that good stuff. Brooke's standing there, visibly bored. Then the guy mentions he works for some tech startup, and suddenly she's all interested, asking for his card for networking right in front of me. When I brought it up later, she acted like I was being paranoid. The mind games got worse over time. We'd make plans to watch a movie at my place, and she'd show up 2 hours late with some excuse about traffic or work running long, but her Instagram would show she'd been at happy hour with her coworkers. When I'd call her out, she'd flip it around and say I was being controlling for checking her social media. One night stands out in my memory. We were supposed to go to my buddy Mike's birthday thing at this arcade bar downtown. I'd been talking about it for weeks. Day of, she texts me that her mom needs her help with something, a total emergency, can't make it. I say, no problem, family comes first. 3 hours later, Liam sends me a pic of Brooke at some rooftop bar with her friends. Confronted her the next day, and she gives me this whole speech about how she deserved a night out and was afraid I'd be mad if she told me the truth. Like, what? Liam noticed it first. Bro, she's kinda messing with your head, he told me one night while we were playing Warzone. Bobby agreed, yeah man, my cousin's ex used to do the same thing. I should have listened, but you know how it is when you're in the trenches. Then the whole show happened on a Friday night. Now I want you to read this with focus, because it gets wild. Earlier that day, Brooke told me she was having dinner with some college friends. No big deal. My boy Jake, another buddy from work, and I were going to hit up this bar called The Local. That morning I caught her checking my phone while I was in the shower, just straight up scrolling through it. When I asked what she was doing, she said, just checking the time, and put it down. My phone was passcode protected, but I'd made the mistake of letting her see me enter it once. Rookie mistake. Jake canceled last minute, his kid got sick, so I went solo. I walked in around 10 at night, and I swear on everything I love, the first thing I see is Brooke practically mounting some dude in a fancy suit, hand on his thigh, giggling at everything he said like he was Dave Chappelle or something. You know those moments where your brain just doesn't process what your eyes are seeing? Like, it literally refuses to compute the information? That was me for about 10 solid seconds. I stood there for a second, trying to compute what I was seeing, then I walked over. Not angry, not yelling, just confused as hell. Brooke, I said. She looked up at me, and for a split second, her face said, oh shit. Then she switched up real quick, like someone hit a reset button. Can I help you? She said, acting like she'd never seen me before in her life. The dude with her straightened up. Is there a problem? He had that trust fund energy, expensive watch, tailored suit, perfect haircut, Tesla key fob sitting on the table. The guy probably had a skincare routine. The type who's never changed his own oil or fixed anything around the house. He's got that smug look of someone who's never been told no in his life. I'm just wondering what's going on, I said, looking right at Brooke. That's when she pulled the dirtiest move I've ever experienced. She turned to Tesla guy and said, loud enough for the whole bar to hear, this is that creepy guy from work I told you about. He's been following me around the office for months. People started staring. The bartender was watching us like he was about to call security. This big dude at the next table turned around, clearly deciding if he needed to play hero. Can you get someone? She said to a waitress walking by. This guy won't leave me alone. A security guy started walking over, hand already on his radio. I could feel my pulse in my ears. One wrong move and I'd be getting tackled by a 250-pound dude with security stretched across his tight black t-shirt. The waitress was already reaching for her little walkie-talkie. Two guys at the bar were standing up, probably thinking they were going to be heroes tonight, and Tesla guy was sitting there with this smug look on his face, like he was enjoying watching this random creep get what was coming to him. In that moment, something clicked in my brain. Instead of losing it or causing a scene, I felt weirdly calm, like everything slowed down and I could see the whole situation from above. So I decided to flip the script. Oh, I said, looking genuinely surprised. I didn't realize you had a boyfriend. Tesla guy looked confused. He glanced at Brooke, then back to me. Wait, do you two know each other? The security guy paused, watching this unfold. The waitress hung back, notepad still in hand, waiting to see if she needed to call the cops. Brooke jumped in. No, he's just some weirdo from... We work together, I said calmly. Marketing department, different teams. I looked at Tesla guy with this apologetic expression. Man, I'm really sorry. If I'd known she was with someone, I never would have hooked up with her last weekend. The look on Brooke's face was priceless. Mouth open, eyes wide, like she was buffering. The security guy crossed his arms, suddenly interested in what was happening. Tesla guy's expression hardened. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone, opened up my gallery, and showed him a picture from the previous weekend. Brooke and me in bed, her head on my chest, both of us smiling. I'm kind of a neat freak with my photos. Bobby always roasts me for it, so it only took a few seconds to find. Last Saturday, I said, again, really sorry, dude. I had no idea she was seeing someone. Tesla guy looked at the picture, then at Brooke, whose face had gone white. He's lying, she stammered. That's an old photo. I turned the phone around to show them both. The date stamp was clearly visible in the corner, 6 days ago. The waitress didn't even try to hide that she was watching. She leaned in slightly to get a better look at the phone. The security guy actually seemed to enjoy the scene a bit too much. You told me you were at your sister's last weekend, Tesla guy said to her. I can show you our texts from that night too if you want. I offered helpfully. Got the whole thread where she sent me her location pin at my place. See, she even sent me that lingerie pic right before coming over. I didn't actually show the lingerie pic, I'm not that guy, but mentioning it was enough. The look on Tesla Guy's face changed from confusion to disgust in about half a second. Tesla Guy stood up. Don't bother. He dropped some cash on the table. We're done here. Wait, I can explain, Brooke started, but he was already walking out. I put my phone away and just stood there for a second. The people at nearby tables were staring. The waitress who Brooke had asked to get security was watching the whole thing. Enjoy your night, I said to Brooke and walked out. The security guy actually gave me a nod as I passed. Nice move, bro, he whispered as I headed for the door. I could hear Brooke starting to cry, not quiet, dignified tears, but full-on ugly sobbing, the kind that's meant to get attention and sympathy. I didn't look back. The second I got outside, I texted our group chat with Liam and Bobby. You won't believe what just happened. Then I drove straight to Liam's place, where they were having a poker night. I blocked Brooke's number that night, deleted her from everything. I didn't care what spin she was going to try. She'd shown me enough. When I got to Liam's, Bobby was already 3 energy drinks deep and demanding details. I laid out the whole story while they just sat there, jaws on the floor. Bro, what the hell? That's some cold-blooded chess move you pulled, Liam said, actually impressed. Most guys would have gone nuclear. Bobby couldn't stop laughing. The date stamp on the photo? That's like catching someone with the murder weapon still in their hand. We were in the middle of a poker hand when my phone started blowing up. Brooke called from different numbers, then started getting texts from her friends, calling me every name in the book, screenshots of her telling them I was obsessed with her, the complete opposite of reality. Liam grabbed my phone and read one message out loud in this high-pitched voice. You're going to regret humiliating her like that. Bobby cracked up. Bro, the only thing you're going to regret is not filming her face when you showed him that pic. The messages kept coming all night. Her roommate texted me saying I was emotionally abusive for exposing her like that. One of her guy friends, a dude I'd never even met, sent me some tough guy message about how I'd better watch my back. Liam and Bobby thought the whole thing was hilarious, reading each new message out loud in increasingly ridiculous voices. How much you want to bet she's telling everyone you two were on a break or some BS? Bobby said, tossing chips into the pot. Nah, Liam countered. She's gonna say he was just a friend, and you overreacted. They were both wrong. The story she was spreading was that I'd been stalking her for months, that we'd never actually dated, and that I'd photoshopped those pictures of us together. Absolutely insane. On Monday, I showed up to work early, requested a desk move to the other side of the floor, told my manager I needed to sit closer to the design team for a cross-functional campaign. He didn't ask questions. No one did. I spent the morning setting up my new desk, grabbing my stuff from the old one, and connecting all my monitors. The IT guy helped me with the network setup, and by lunchtime, it was like I'd always been on the other side of the office. The silence probably bugged her more than anything. For about 2 weeks, she tried everything to talk to me, showed up at my desk, waited near the coffee machine, cornered me near the elevator. I kept it clean. I'm busy, I have a meeting, not interested. The more I ignored her, the more unhinged she got. Then her best friend, Kayla, started running her mouth. She worked in HR and had always had this smug, know-it-all attitude, the kind of girl who thought a guy with a classic car was automatically compensating. I overheard her once in the break room, whispering to Brooke, "You should have ghosted him way earlier. That whole gamer thing is a red flag." Kayla started scheduling fake meetings with me to trap me in conference rooms. One time, I walked in, and it was just her sitting there. "We need to talk about what happened," she said. I just turned around and walked out. The worst was when she tried to corner me in the parking garage after work. I was heading to my car, keys in hand, when she appeared from behind a concrete pillar like some horror movie villain. "You need to hear my side," she said, blocking my way to the driver's door. I just walked around to the passenger side, got in that way, locked the doors, and drove off while she stood there yelling. One morning, I came in to find a handwritten letter on my desk, 4 pages, front and back, of her explaining how I'd misunderstood everything and how she was just trying to protect herself at the bar. I didn't even bother reading the whole thing. Took a picture, sent it to Liam and Bobby with the caption LOL, and then shredded it. Bobby works in the same building, different company, and we'd meet for lunch sometimes. One day, he saw Brooke trying to corner me in the lobby. "Dude, she looks like she's about to go full Fatal Attraction on you," he said after she finally left. "Want me to have my cousin Vinny pay her a visit?" He was joking. I think. Eventually, Brooke sent me a long email about how Brandon, also known as Tesla Guy, wasn't serious, how what we had was real, and how she just got scared. I didn't respond, I saved it, then deleted it from my inbox. It wasn't an apology, it was a panic flare. Liam read it over energy drinks that weekend and just shook his head. Classic. She's not sorry she did it, she's sorry she got caught. The guys and I were grinding this new battle royale game when my phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. It was a picture of Brooke crying, mascara running down her face, with the caption, "Look what you did to me." Bobby grabbed my phone, typed, "New phone, who dis?" and hit send before I could stop him. We laughed about it for days. I thought I was done with Brooke. I kept it professional at work, no drama, no gossip. She sent her half-assed apology email and I ignored it. I figured that was the end of it. I was wrong. Friday night I was in the garage, had the Chevelle halfway up on jack stands, prepping to install a new stereo setup and clean up some wiring. Garage lights on, playlist running, engine bay open. It was peaceful. The kind of quiet I worked years to build. Liam was supposed to come over with some parts, and Bobby said he might stop by with snacks. I was under the dash, trying to feed wires through this tiny hole, swearing under my breath because whoever built this car in 1969 didn't plan for a guy to install a Bluetooth-compatible sound system 50 years later. After an hour of fighting with wires and connectors, I'd finally gotten the head unit mounted and was just starting to connect everything when my phone buzzed. Liam said he was running late but had picked up the aux adapter I needed. Perfect timing. Then I heard a car door slam and someone pounding on my front door. It was Brooke. She was outside, screaming, calling me a coward, telling me I had no right to make her look like a fool, yelling loud enough that neighbors' lights started flipping on. Mrs. Johnson from next door actually came out onto her porch in her bathrobe, watching the whole thing. I didn't open the door, I didn't even say anything. I turned the music volume up until she was gone. I wasn't in the mood for drama. Then I heard it, a loud smack, followed by something that didn't sound right. I walked out the side door and froze. She was already in her car, speeding off. The Chevelle was sitting in the driveway, coffee dripping down the hood, a busted drink cup on the ground. And then I saw it, a freaking scratch, a deep, ragged line running right across the passenger side door, fingernail deep, clear coat, paint, everything. I walked up to it like I was trying not to believe what I was seeing. My freaking car. This woman had now crossed an uncrossable line, and she was dead wrong if she thought I'd let that slide. This wasn't just any scratch. This was deliberate, malicious destruction. A jagged, ugly line that went from the front fender all the way to the rear quarter panel, the kind of damage that makes car guys physically sick to their stomachs. I wasn't yelling, I wasn't even talking. I just stood there, fists balled up, staring at the side of my car. That car wasn't just a car. I built it, I fixed it, I earned it. And she came to my house and decided she had the right to damage it because her little rich guy fantasy blew up in her face. Right then, Liam and Bobby pulled up. They took one look at me, one look at the car, and knew something was seriously wrong. "What the hell happened?" Liam asked, examining the scratch like a doctor looking at a wound. "Freaking Brooke happened," was all I could say. Bobby just shook his head. "Bro, she's gone full psycho. This is restraining order territory now." "Look at this," I said, pointing to the scratch. "Do you know how many hours I spent on this paint job? I had to color match the original factory paint, had to special order it from this guy in Michigan who mixes it by hand. Applied 6 coats by myself." Liam ran his finger along the scratch. "She got it good, all the way down to the metal in some spots." "My phone," I said suddenly, running back into the garage. "Please tell me it caught everything." I went straight inside and pulled the security cam footage. I'd installed a system after someone tried to break into my neighbor's place last year. Best $200 I ever spent. Yep, the stupid brat forgot I had security cameras. Full view, clear as daylight, her face, her car, the drink, the damage. The footage even caught her taking her house key, the one I never asked for back, and dragging it along the paint. All of it was recorded in 1080p with night vision. "Holy crap," Bobby said, watching the footage over my shoulder. "She straight up keyed your car on camera. That's like criminal stupidity right there." The video was crystal clear, showed her pulling into my driveway, pounding on the door, screaming for about 5 minutes. Then throwing her coffee at the car. But the best part? The HD close-up of her taking out her key, looking directly at the camera, and then deliberately dragging it along the side of my car. Couldn't have asked for better evidence if I'd scripted it myself. Then I called the cops, filed a police report that night. The responding officer didn't need convincing once he saw the footage. He just nodded and said, "Yeah, she's gonna have a bad week." He stood there watching the security footage, writing in his little notepad. "Classic vandalism, open and shut," he said. "We'll send someone to pick her up in the morning." The cop actually whistled when he saw the Chevelle. 1969? He asked. When I nodded, he shook his head. "Damn shame. These aren't easy to find in this condition anymore." He took photos of the damage from multiple angles. Had me fill out some paperwork. and told me to follow up with the prosecutor's office in a few days. Bobby, who knows a guy, he always does, got me the number of a decent lawyer just in case. My cousin used him when his neighbor cut down his prize oak tree, Bobby explained. Got the guy to pay 3 times what the tree was worth, plus had to plant a new one. Dude's good. I called the lawyer first thing Monday morning. He listened to my story, asked about the evidence I had, and said it was pretty much a slam-dunk case for both criminal charges and a civil suit for damages. Keep that video, he warned, and make backups. Multiple backups. Next stop, HR. I wrote a formal complaint to our department lead, copying our HR rep, explained everything. How I had been falsely accused in public by a coworker, how she escalated it by damaging my personal property, and how I had a police report and video to back it up. I let the evidence talk, attached the security footage, the police report, and photos of the damage to my email, added in screenshots of texts she'd sent me after I blocked her number, used her own words against her. By Monday, Brooke was out. HR didn't make a scene about it, but her desk was cleared, and her access card didn't work anymore. No one said anything official, they didn't need to. I heard through the grapevine that security had to escort her out when she showed up that morning. Apparently, she tried to say I was setting her up. The HR lady just played the security footage of her keying my car on the conference room TV and asked if she had anything else to add. According to my buddy in IT who sets up the conference room tech, she went from defiant to defeated in about 30 seconds flat. Started with the whole "he's obsessed with me" routine. Ended with being walked to her car by security with a box of her desk plants and photos. She tried reaching out again, email, texts, even showed up at work one day accidentally before being escorted out. "I'm sorry about your car," she texted from a new number, "but you humiliated me in front of everyone. I just forwarded it to my lawyer without responding." 2 weeks after filing the police report, I got a call from the detective handling the case. They'd formally charged her with criminal mischief and vandalism. She'd been arrested, processed, and released on her own recognizance. Court date was set for the following month. Meanwhile, my lawyer had filed the civil case for damages. We had an itemized list of repair costs, including the custom paint, professional detailing, and even compensation for loss of use while the car was in the shop. Then came small claims court. I had my documentation, my receipts, and a detail shop invoice for repainting the passenger side and buffing the damage out. I even brought before and after photos. The judge didn't need long. She was ordered to pay every cent. The judge didn't buy any of Brooke's excuses. When Brooke tried to say it was an emotional reaction to me stalking her, the judge just held up the security footage stills and asked, "Is this you deliberately keying his vehicle after trespassing on his property?" Brooke tried to argue that I'd emotionally abused her by embarrassing her at the bar. The judge wasn't having it. "So, your response to alleged embarrassment was to commit vandalism?" the judge asked. "That's like saying someone cut you off in traffic, so you followed them home and slashed their tires." She mocked the car, then she paid to fix it. Liam and Bobby came with me to court for support. After the ruling, Bobby just grinned and said, "Poetic justice hits differently." The judge ordered her to pay $3,200 for the repairs, plus court costs. When she claimed she couldn't afford it, the judge set up a payment plan, $500 a month until it was paid off, plus interest. On the way out, Brooke tried to approach me in the parking lot. "This isn't fair," she said. "You're ruining my life over a stupid scratch." I replied, "Yep. This is what happens when you touch my car. Get lost." Then I just got in my car and drove away. Nothing more to say. Later that night, I got an email from her with the subject line, "I hope you're happy." Inside was just a screenshot of her bank account, showing the first $500 payment to me. I didn't reply, but yeah, I was pretty happy. That was months ago. I've been doing good since. No girlfriend, no drama, no fake apologies, just peace. Work's been solid. That campaign I was grinding when this all started, it crushed, got me a raise and a promotion, moved into a better office, got more remote hours, and finally stopped eating sad desk lunches. My new position came with a team to manage, 5 people reporting to me now, got my own office with a door that closes, actual privacy. No more open floor plan Bs where anyone can just walk up and start talking. The promotion came with a nice pay bump too. Not life-changing money, but enough that I could finally afford some of those car upgrades I'd been planning for years. First paycheck with the new salary hit my account, and I immediately ordered parts I'd had sitting in my online cart for months. Put some of that raise into the Chevelle, new sound system, leather redone, full detail job. Had the paint matched and corrected, then hit it with a ceramic coat. She looks better now than the day I pulled her out of storage. The ceramic coating was a game changer, water beads right off it, and minor scratches buff out like nothing. Cost a small fortune, but worth every penny for the peace of mind. Plus, it makes the midnight blue paint look so deep you could dive into it. Liam helped me install some upgrades to the engine, too. Nothing crazy, just some quality of life improvements that make her purr like a jungle cat. We spent a whole weekend replacing the carburetor with a more efficient one, upgrading the intake manifold, and adding a performance chip that boosted the horsepower by about 15%. The day we finished, we took her out on the empty stretch of highway past the industrial district, hit 110 miles per hour before backing off. The sound of that engine at full throttle is better than any music. Bobby recorded it on his phone from the passenger seat. You can hear him yelling, "Holy crap, dude!" over the engine roar as the speedometer climbs. Posted that clip online and got a bunch of car guys asking for build details. Took her to a classic car show a couple of towns over, drove in early, parked next to a lineup of Camaros and Mustangs. By the end of the day, I walked away with a trophy. Best in class. The car show organizer was this old-timer who'd been rebuilding classics for 40 years. He spent like 20 minutes looking over my engine bay, nodding approvingly. "You don't see craftsmanship like this much anymore," he said, handing me the trophy. Gaming setup got a refresh too. New GPU. New headset, bigger monitor. Me, Liam, and Bobby have been grinding this new game after work. No drama, just trash talk, cracked knuckles, and clean wins. Last week, Bobby clutched a 1-4 in the final circle, and we lost our minds. Neighbors probably thought someone was being murdered with how loud we were screaming. Also, I had this unexpected encounter. A few weeks back, I ran into Brandon, the Tesla guy, at a random coffee shop downtown. He recognized me, walked over, didn't even hesitate. "Hey man, just wanted to say thanks. You saved me a headache." We talked for a few minutes. Turns out, she'd been seeing him for over a month before that night. Told him she was single, played innocent. He dipped the second I showed that picture, never looked back. "Dodged a bullet," he said. "Yeah," I nodded. "Me too. She had this whole other persona with me," he explained. Told me she was taking classes for an MBA. Said she didn't play games and wanted something serious. Complete 180% from how she actually was. We actually ended up exchanging numbers. Turns out, he's big into classic cars too. His dad has a 1967 Mustang they restored together. We're meeting up at a car show next month. Funny how things work out sometimes. Got a text from Brandon last weekend about a car meet happening at this industrial park outside of town. Bunch of exotic cars, some classics, the whole deal. Took the Chevelle out there, parked next to his buddy's Porsche. People kept coming over to check out my car, ignoring the $200,000 supercars nearby. That's the thing about classics. They've got soul that money can't buy. Started hanging out with some new people too. There's this car club that meets every other Saturday at a garage on the edge of town. Bunch of guys who actually work on their own vehicles instead of just talking about them. First time I drove the Chevelle in there, they all gathered around like I'd brought in a supermodel. Spent 3 hours just shooting the breeze about compression ratios and valve timing. My kind of people. Last weekend, Bobby's girl brought her friend Sarah to our monthly poker game. She was cool, knew her way around a Texas Hold'em table, and took $40 off me fair and square. Didn't once ask when we were going to be done or complain about the chips and dip dinner options. We exchanged numbers, maybe going to grab dinner next week. No rush, though. We were all at Liam's place for our weekly game night when someone brought up Brooke. Hadn't heard that name in weeks, to be honest. Apparently she'd been posting these cryptic karma will get him type messages on social media. Couldn't care less. While she's still making payments on my car repairs, I'm living my best life. Some days I think about how different that night could have gone. I could have yelled, I could have begged, but I just pulled the reverse card. I let the facts do the talking, and when she came back angry, I didn't match her energy. I hit her where it actually hurts, quietly, permanently. I didn't need revenge. I just made sure she got what she deserved. So, that's my story. If there's a lesson here, it's this. Document everything, install security cameras, and never let anyone make you question your own reality. And maybe, just maybe, never date a girl who thinks a Chevy like mine is too old.